fear of missing out is not just for the young people, John. We cannot pass judgment. And I know how much you love doing it. I know how much you love beating up on the youths of America.
What was it? Was it Mark Twain that said youth is wasted on the young?
Well, youth is wasted on the young, energy is wasted on youth, all of it. There is a lot.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I reflect back onto my younger self, and there was a lot wasted on me.
Of course. Sleeping until noon.
I know.
So much energy you're bouncing off. And that's before I even really discovered caffeine, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm
Right,
watching
you
my
didn't need
kids, and I'm like, these kids are live wires.
Uh-huh.
I love the heck out of them, but I'm like, man, if they would just apply this much more productivity to their day in whatever type, because they have all that energy. I'm at a point
They
now
don't
where
know
it's
how
like
to contain it.
I can barely keep my eyes open halfway through the March Madness. I'm like, oh god. Even if it's a nail biter, I'm like, oh, and I'm tossing her to the side of my couch and drooling on my dog, and I'm like, this is miserable.
The great irony of it is, at 3 a.m., what are you wide awake?
I'm up because I got to hit the bathroom.
Age.
I got to hit the bathroom. It's like, this is absurd. When people said this, I'm like, you take care of yourself. That's just silly. I can't believe it. Oh.
Here we are.
Yeah, it's real. It's a real
Here
thing.
we are. It's a very real thing. Young people, pay attention. This is financial advisor John Hicks, founder of J. Hagan Capital, here to share with you insight on ways to avoid FOMO wrecking your retirement future. That is the goal of this conversation here today, to understand how we can do better, even as we are older, more mature, more experienced adults. Part of being mature is understanding that you can always be working on yourself and doing better. So we're going to speak about it in the way of finances and investments, John. Always find us anytime, retirementsolutionshow.com, or click on the links we got posted in the show notes. So the New York Times reports Gen Zers, that's those born between 1997 and 2012, they are going into debt. Why? Because they got to get that concert ticket, John. And here's
you serious?
the thing. That's what it is. They are going to debt to see their favorite concerts. The average ticket cost these days, $136. And I have been to some concerts, or just looked. I should say I have not been to some concerts, because I've looked up a concert and just like the cheap seats, that price point up to $200 for some concerts. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to go and sit there and be mad for $200. So it's a real problem.
Hold on, but Gen Zers are going into debt to go see who's Gen Z? Is that Britney Spears?
No, that's. Are you kidding me? That's our generation. Britney Spears.
I felt like I was older then. I feel like I'm more like a Motley Crue, a Great White, Def Leppard, Styx.
You're just cooler.
Oh, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gen Z is gonna. They're gonna go see. They're seeing Taylor. Obviously, they're seeing Beyonce.
Her tickets. I guarantee you one thing: the Tay tickets are not $167.
No,
you can maybe put a 2 in front of that. $21.67. I was talking to someone the other day, and this is no joke. I was talking to a client, and they were taking their grandkids to see Taylor. This may have been 6 or 7 months ago.
Yeah.
But they were going to go see her. This is no joke. They were going to go up to Cincinnati to fly to Paris because it was cheaper to fly to Paris to see Taylor Swift than it was to try to go to Dallas or wherever, or Atlanta or Chicago. And I'm like, there's no way you somehow have misread the number somewhere. And they're like, John, no, and he pulled out this cocktail napkin, him scribbling on it, trying to figure out, hey, do we have enough money, honey, in the retirement account to take the grandkids to go see? No, obviously they did, but he was just trying to figure out, really?
Yeah.
Cheaper to go to Paris to see Taylor than to watch her domestically.
It was a common news story. A lot of Americans going to Europe to see Taylor because to fly over, to take a whole trip over there was cheaper than trying to get tickets here. That's a very real thing.
I still don't think I'd go into debt for that.
No.
I don't know. Maybe Travis Kelce, he may go into debt for that. But outside of that, I mean,
you are wiser and more mature. We're talking about, remember all the things that are wasted on the youth.
Gray makes you smarter.
Except for when it comes to our investments. Let's go ahead and turn the mirror around on ourselves, sir, because FOMO is not just a Gen Z problem. We see it, you see it every day when it comes to our investing, and people trying to, 1, predict when we've hit the bottom, 2, when's the best time to get in and get out, 3, don't want to miss that rally. FOMO is got to be 50% of what you do on an individual person-to-person basis in your office.
I'd say it's more. I mean, I really do think
Really?
it's more. I mean, it's the easiest thing. So, fear of missing out is almost the same as like, oh, fearing that you're gonna miss the next part of the ride too, right? So cryptocurrency is almost the perfect one. I remember,
Oh, yeah.
talking to people years ago, and they're like, "Oh, John, I can't believe you're not into crypto. You're not a crypto bro, man. You need to be a crypto bro. Everyone's crypto bro. Makes all kinds of cash, anywhere you want it." I'm like, come on, man. That I think it's absurd.
Right.
I'll be lo and behold. I remember sitting in my office one day, and Bitcoin or whatever it was like at 17,000.
Yeah.
Well, it went over 100,000, and I started thinking, like, man, that's a 500% return on people that did that. Now, unlike we're hearing now from Gen Zers, a fear of missing out.
Yeah.
I didn't buy any at the 100,000 mark, and what happened? It's come back down into the 70,000 range. Now, is it still a lot higher? Did it make a lot of money for some people? Yeah. But guys, there's a perfect case example. It happens in real estate all the time. People start getting into bidding wars because they're afraid that they're not going to get that house of their dreams. And so that one goes by quickly, and then they jump on the next one, or they jump on the next one because they're afraid they're going to miss out. And what happens is they overpay or they make an inappropriate decision. It happens all the time. I mean, just going through your portfolio. And I am 100% also guilty of this. You go through and you look at, the 12 things you own or the 19 things you own or however many things you own in your portfolio, and you start looking at the ones that did really, really great, and you're going, yeah, you're patting yourself on the back. I'm a genius. Look what I did. I owned NVIDIA last year. Oh, and so what happens? Then you get into that portfolio and you get those things that did not do so well. Yeah. Ooh, those bonds. Wow, those are terrible. I don't even know why I own those things. I'm going to toss those things and I'm going to do what? I'm going to buy more NVIDIA because I was such a genius to buy that in the first place. That's really fear of missing out. Fear of missing out on the next part of the ride. Amazingly, what has happened since the end of last year, the beginning of this year? Well, NVIDIA's down about 35 to 40% in bonds, although they have not made a bunch of money. They have protected and held on to some of that money, even though the market is down several percent. So just because something has done exceedingly well for a period of time does not mean it's going to maintain that. As a matter of fact, statistically, the stock market has done so well, Heather, over the past 12 years. It truly has. It's done exceedingly well. This is one of the highest 12-year periods ever in the history of the stock market. Now, there's some good reasons for that, but people expecting it to maintain a 13, 14% return going forward, unfortunately, all the statistics are against you. Every single statistic on the planet is against you. So I would not be fear of missing out in the current environment. As a matter of fact, I'd said it 2 or 3 times in January, and lo and behold, we didn't know the market was going to fall apart in February and the beginning part of March. But what happened was I said, hey, listen, when the stock markets do this well, really, unless they crash, which we've started to see that a little bit. I don't know if it's done yet. We don't have any idea. But unless markets crash, then the actual rate of return from here is maybe 2% or less a year to take all the risk in the world of stocks. So that's the whole thing. Someone's fear of missing out. They got to jump in there because my neighbor did 30% last year in NVIDIA, John. And if you got into that, you'd be down 30% this year. Now, is that a very different outcome? Yeah. And what happened? Fear of missing out. Being disappointed because of what the Joneses had that you didn't have. Listen, the easiest way to do well in investing is to not listen to other investors. They are idiots. When they say the masses are asses, it's 100% true. It is true through all periods of time because what that person invests in and how they invest should be based on their needs. Your assets are very different, obviously. You could have different members of your family. You could have different income needs. You could have a different paying job. You could have a different goal for what you want your retirement to look like. And so you should potentially never own the same thing that your neighbor owns, right? Mm-hmm. So that fear of missing out happens and it gets associated psychologically with bias or thinking things are going to repeat themselves. All of this is the same psychological factor of fear of missing out. It's basically just our head, our brain, looking at something and going, well, I don't want that to happen again, right? It's kind of like you accidentally put your hand on a hot stove. Ooh, I don't want that to happen again. I'm certainly not going to put my other hand on there.
Yeah.
Often what happens is, in investing, it needs to be the exact opposite. If you accidentally put your hand on that stove and got burned, oof, that stunk. Here's the craziest thing. Statistically, the very next thing you should do is probably put both hands on that stove, because I know the chances of it burning you more are different the second time around. It's so true. Stocks did great last year, stink this year. Bonds did terrible last year, they're doing better this year. Here's the craziest thing. I mentioned 12-year periods. The stock market did great for the past 12 years in the U.S. International stunk. What is one of the only things up this year? International markets are up almost 8%. Now, that is an interesting thing. They have not been good in a decade. Are we about to change and have a paradigm shift where we start seeing everyone else that's been falling by the wayside? Why? Because they're more valuable now, because they didn't run up as much. There's more room for them to grow. Are they going to start to outperform? That is why we diversify our portfolios. Please don't get stuck with the fear of missing out motive. It will fail you almost every time because it's very emotionally involved, and emotions will crush your portfolio in the long run.
Be better than the FOMO. Do not let fear drive or dictate your future. Let planning decide how you're going to live your life in the years ahead. The kind of plan that John and his team are here to help you create, one customized to you and your goals. RetirementSolutionShow.com is our website, and where to head right now to start the conversation. If you have worries or you have wonders about the market and how to better diversify yourself, at J. Hagan Capital, they can help you figure it out, again, in a customized plan, because what works for your neighbor probably is not going to work for you, nor will your plan work for your neighbor. So let's get to work on your plan. Again, it's RetirementSolutionShow.com, or just click on the links we've got posted in the show notes.